Welcome to Business Connection. I'm Liz Spencer. We have a wonderful guest in studio. It's Patty Minglin. She's the founder and CEO of Go Girl Communications. I love it.
Thanks.
So tell me, you're a content marketer. What does that mean?
Content marketing is basically the creation and sharing of content about your company with the intent to engage your audience. And that's really like the key part, is to engage your audience, because it's not just content to inform or entertain. You want people to engage with you. And the reason that's so important is that it gives people the opportunity to really explore the why behind their brand, and not just why you do what you do, but why your customer should care. And so when you have a good content marketing plan, you are laser focused on the needs of your audience. And that not only helps you create great content, but it helps you with all areas of your business to create new products or to create new services that may help fill the needs of your audience.
Now, lots of us think about, we have to hire a marketer, and marketing is such a big umbrella. Where does content marketing fit? And you talked a little bit about why it's important, but why is it important? Where does it fit with all the other marketing I'm supposed to be doing too? It's overwhelming.
It is, and you're right. Marketing is this gigantic umbrella. And I always say that most marketing and branding plans have a content strategy in there somewhere. It's in there to tell you we're going to do newsletters, or we're going to do a landing page, or we're going to write a blog. And so really where content marketing fits in is the implementation of your marketing, the content of your marketing plan. So it's to say, we'll come in and do your blog for you, or we'll come in and do the newsletter. What I find is that many companies, especially small to medium-sized businesses, where they've kind of fall off the track with their marketing plan is in that implementation. Doing regular content on a regular basis is a lot harder than people think. It is harder to create, and it's important to do that. That is how you're going to drive traffic to your website and drive engagement. And you need to have fresh, relevant content all the time, but it's hard.
Right, and it's the consistency of that content.
Correct. They always say the phrase is Google loves fresh content. I mean, your SEO improves with fresh content and relevant content, because then people are engaging with it. Right.
Well, and that goes to that implementation thing that, if I'm going to say I'm doing it weekly and I start out weekly and suddenly I drop off, it's not good.
No, and I always recommend start small. Even with your social media channels, I would say you don't have to be on everything. Pick one social media channel where your audience is and that you would like to engage with, and you become the best at that, and then maybe add something. So start small, like a blog a month, even a blog every other month, but be consistent with it, whatever it is.
And that kind of brings me to the idea, how do you work with a typical client? I mean, because I'm sure they range from no marketing, nothing, to a larger situation where, lots of expertise, other people for you to interact with and be part of that team. So how does that all work?
And that's exactly right. There are several ways that we usually work with clients. One is just by piece. They want a blog every month, or they need a white paper for a presentation they're getting ready to do. So we just come in and we'll do just a piece of content for them on a regular basis, or even just one time. The other way is they need a strategy. These are usually people that have a lot of content. I find that they're usually video people. They are people that have, I know, you know those.
That sounds familiar.
They have all this great video on a YouTube channel, and they don't know what else they can do with it. So we can come in and look at that and say, okay, let's roll these out on your website like this. Let's use this on social media. We could even take pieces of that content from a video and create an infographic. So we'll kind of create a strategy for the content they already have. And then the third one is the one you were talking about, like the bigger client that already has maybe a marketing person or a marketing team, and we come into, they have us implement their content. They're like, you're in charge of content. We're going to tell you what our marketing strategy is, but you're in charge of creating the content on the website, the newsletter, and the social media. That is your area. So we will work with them on that, but we work with their marketing people.
That's wonderful. It's a lot to do.
That is a lot to do. And we don't have very many, like the big ones, we don't have very many of those, specifically because it is a lot of work to do, and we are a small company ourselves, so we don't work with them as much.
So when people engage with you, and I think when people want marketing, they want it because they want to, they're in a growth phase, or they want to increase their growth, or they want, how do they know the marketing is helping? How do you measure this? Because it is a little bit of these non-tangibles.
It is, and you usually sales and marketing always get lumped together. Sales is super easy to measure. Revenue's coming in, sales is working, but marketing is a little bit touchy-feely, and it's hard.
Gray.
It's a gray area, and content marketing is even worse because you don't necessarily attach a metric to just content. But you want to make sure your content is doing what you need it to do for your business objectives. That's why that engaging your audience piece that I mentioned earlier is so important, because you need to make sure that your audience is doing what you need them to do, whether that's visit your website more often, whether that's move to a certain page of your website or follow you on social media, whatever your business objective is. Make sure your content's doing that, which means you have to dig into analytics. You have to.
Google's made that easier because it's measurable, but harder because it's very complicated.
Exactly, and Google gives you more information than you need to know, so you don't. We can help people just figure out which pieces you need to look at in your Google Analytics. But you want to make sure so you have to dig into those analytics to make sure your content is doing what you need it to do. If it's not, you got to change your content. And it may not be messaging, it may be channel. Maybe your audience isn't a Facebook audience. Maybe your audience is on Instagram and you just haven't explored that enough. So it may be changing a channel instead of changing messaging. But always make sure that it's doing what it's supposed to do and not just sitting out there just because it's pretty and it sounds great. Like there are many times I write things that I think are really awesome. They sound beautiful, but they're not working. They don't drive sales for the business, so we can't do that.
Now, you tend to focus in or like clients who are women and moms. This seems to be your niche. Go, girl.
Right. The name says
it. Right, yeah. So why is that important to you? Why did you identify that?
First, it's my area of expertise. My background, I was the publisher at Chicago Parrot Magazine, and I also ran online content for 2 national conferences, marketing to women and marketing to moms. So I got really deep within those spaces and met with a lot of big brands. Like I interviewed Procter & Gamble and Coca-Cola, and I began to see how incredibly important it is, the art behind marketing to women. It's not just because you're a woman, you know what to do. Like, that's not how that works. There's a real art and strategy. And I thought smaller companies need to understand that even earlier because they don't have Coca-Cola money.
Right.
And they need to really be very careful with their marketing messages. And the truth is 85% of all purchasing decisions are influenced by women across all industries and all categories. And so any company would do well to understand the buying process behind how women are thinking about purchasing.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for stopping by and sharing all that you do. We wish you a lot of luck. It's fascinating. You're wonderful, and I think that background as a publisher and a writer is so important. I mean, that gives you a heads up.
Yeah, thanks.
So we appreciate it. We wish you a lot of luck. So we want you to stop by and check in with us again and let us know how things are going.
Thank you.
And we're going to be right back with more Business Connection. Stay tuned.